And former Eskom employee Dorothy Mushi says there is a plot to end her life after she uncovered cartels draining the power utilities coffers. She says a syndicate has been working with employees to try and swindle the cash-strapped utility using purchase orders for work not done. Mushi says the corruption is in excess of billions of rand.
That I myself, in actual fact, have identified which cartels are operating within the Eskom space, and I have also identified who's been assisting them. And as a result of this, I have suffered prejudice. I've been threatened by even law enforcement to a point that I was unlawfully arrested for having put my finger on the cartels and requesting law enforcement to actually arrest these cartel individuals. It's suppliers, it's individuals that are based in Mpumalanga. I'm not at liberty to divulge the name of these companies at this point, but it's cartels. Some of them Andre de Ruyter has touched on during his interview, but I'm sure he also did not mention the names of these cartels. But law enforcement has these names, and the surprising thing is nothing is being done. I've been at the tail end of trying to make sure that these people are brought to account. And as a result of doing that, I myself have been threatened. At the time, I was not aware that my boss was involved in this. It's now that I'm aware that it's actually shocking for me. I have reported the matter to the Hawks. I have reported it to Godfrey Libya. He was helpful in that he has summoned an investigation into the matter. But that's as far as it went. There hasn't been anything concrete that has been forthcoming. My life is still under threat. I have not received anything from the SAPS in terms of protection. They've not come back to me to say we've tracked this individual. So that for me is rather disappointing. And I also need to mention that there was a similar incident in the past where the COO of Eskom's life was under threat. And within a very short period, the Hawks were able to find the individuals involved. So for me, I'm asking myself, is this because I'm at the bottom of the food chain at Eskom? So does that mean my life doesn't matter?
All right. Joining us now is Kelvin Rafadi, a crime and security expert who has investigated the goings-on at Eskom. Kelvin, good morning to you, and thank you very much for making this appointment. You revealed through your investigations that Eskom managers and employees have been involved in acts of sabotage, among other crimes. Let's just start with, based on your investigations, how long this has been going on for at Eskom?
Yeah, morning, Koli, and morning to your viewers. This has been a problem for quite a number of years, and we've been saying that Eskom issues and Eskom shenanigans, they derive from procurement. So it's all about procurement, the so-called local purchase order, informal tendering, and even big tenders. So everybody wants to get their hands in that cookie jar, and that's where the main corruption is at. And then even the sabotage. People, they sabotage the power station knowing that they will be the supplier of those particular components, to a point that they even end up not buying the original parts, which are called the OEM, original equipment manufacturer. But at the end of the day, we must say this has been an ongoing crime for quite some time, and I'm glad that the lady has come out to prove what we've been singing, that there's so much shenanigans, there's so much protecting one another, even in the forensic department, even in your likes of your legal department, and the security at Eskom. So It is a big problem, and if we don't address it, then we're still going to continue seeing so much problems and not having progress on the load shedding.
Kelvin, I'm glad that you have mentioned in your first response Dorothy and how she has come out, because she talks about cartels. Yes, she cannot mention names because I suspect that will put her life even more at risk. But here's just some of why she says she is at risk, and she has spoken to law enforcement about this. I just want you to have a listen first before we continue our conversation. The person you're about to hear now is a hitman who says that he was paid a small amount of money to take her out and that the rest of the money would be paid to them. Just take a listen to this.
And the boss is another band. We name a case that will look at my tender what. Mean as a song of Father would have done away. Party, I may go to the wrong ones. Walk on a movement, dark walking. Meaning, come on, answer and split, just as a song. Sounds like a coupon is a halapong away now. But me necessity is a halapong away, not Imaluanigile. I'm going to go to party. You might have on 10,000, it's 400,000. Now, the one 50,000, which is a mop of king and the wrong. Church Mali, and the C3. You are on 4,000 some hotel. I'm in the one of the bus route. She's always a half a part, the one of my from bus route. Wrong the Jesus. Just saying a cheap, I mean, I'm putting the is on the rams and gold from fast. And then I'm not thought.
Kelvin, so that's just the one part. Now, here is the most unsettling for me. Let's just continue listening for a moment. So the one part you can hear clearly, she is being tipped off that your life is at risk. We've already been given a part of the money and the rest will be given to us once we have done what we have been sent to do to you. Have a listen to this next element.
Yeah, my father. Exactly, yeah.
Not cut.
Not cut.
Kelvin, I will try and translate, but I think you understand a bit of Zulu. So the first part, we've dealt with it, that first sound bite. Now, they actually are in Gauteng, and they're saying that there is her house. We have now found it. That is chilling. Just talk to us about the process that is involved here to try and investigate crimes at Eskom and how risky it can be.
Yeah, no, it is very risky because, like we said, these people at the forensic department and even at legal and even at the security department, they choose which case to see the light of the day. But if they can see that one is very decisive, these are the kind of threats that one gets. And, as an employee of Eskom, the lady now has reported, and crime intelligence should be brought into space whereby they do a threat analysis and they provide security to her because her life is in danger and matters that she is reporting are in relation to her employer. So crime intelligence needs to be called in. They need to assess the threat, and also because now we all know that she's at high risk and they need to provide security for her. But having said all that, what basically happened, even in the past, we reported that there are members or managers that move from the procurement, from the head office in Sunning Hill, going to the power stations, especially those in Mpumalanga, the likes of Duva, Tutuka, and Matimba, whereby even after they sit on the committee of adjudicating for informal tendering and tenders, they will get a lousy roadblock outside the power station or even at the off-ramps. And they point them with guns and they tell them that, you know what, that project, you're going to award it to Koli or you're going to award it to Calvin. Failure to do that, we know where your child attends school, we know what you are up to and the likes. And, many employees, they go to Eskom, they report this to the department and even HR themselves. They don't even give them support because they're supposed to take them for counseling. Imagine you are pointed at a gun and then you go to work, you report, nothing happens. You go to the law enforcement, HR, they don't even make facilities and ways that you need counseling. So they choose which case to take serious, which not to take serious. But at the end of the day, I will say we call upon companies that have even funded the report of George Fivers. They must fund this woman and give her the best security because she's got serious information. She's pregnant with high information which has put her life in danger and which can also help the country to know what is happening there at Eskom.
Kelvin, you mentioned how some of the people report these matters to people that they think will assist. Dorothy, for example, she says she wrote emails to the former Eskom CEO. She never got a response. How should we look at Andre de Ruyter today, given that this was the person that I think helped the country to almost see his role as a corruption buster at Eskom?
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to Dorothy's tone on her interview that you just played, she's saying the same COO of Eskom reported that he received threats over the phone, which is similar to what Dorothy is going through. But the treatment is more different to the COO and herself. She's saying maybe because she's not that senior at the senior level. That's why we are saying we call upon crime intelligence to give this woman the best security, and those companies that have funded the George Fivers report to equally put funds and then look after this woman and fund her resources in providing if she even when she wants a private security company to get her. But what we can say, she's not only the first one to come forward with information, and many are reluctant to come forward with information because of they don't see the light of the day. Even myself, I mean, I'm not at Eskom, but I've investigated many matters at Eskom. Many people have died in the line of duty because we were doing what we call the recovery of gold vending machine, which is also a problem at Eskom.
Yeah.
And many of our guys were poisoned. Some were pointed with firearms. Some were shot. Even the police themselves. So it's another world out there. But let Dorothy get the best security, and then she must come and testify, and then we see justice in this matter.
Kelvin, finally and very briefly, I know you wrote to the president asking for steps to be taken in the crimes that are going on at Eskom. Did you ever get a response?
Well, I got a response from the presidency's office, and then they told me that from going forward, I need to communicate through some anonymous type of helpline. But then I've seen that, okay, at least I was not blue-ticked. But the matters are not being followed up. Even at the Hawks, I mean, I took the reports of Tutuka, and then I've opened a case against some of the managers at legal department because of their shenanigans, how money is siphoned into some of their personal accounts. But to date, nothing happens.
Kelvin Rafadi, let me thank you very much for your time and sharing just some of what you were able to uncover at Eskom. And there's your response. He was sent to an anonymous tip-off line to go and basically give information there. But there's no follow-up. You've heard Kelvin say. So what hope is there that Dorothy will be safe? Hopefully, the Hawks head, Godfrey Lebeya, will find time to talk to us here because we need you, sir. People's lives are at risk. More news at the top of the hour.